So thank you so much for everyone for joining us. Again, this student design challenge is part of our bigger concept and program called the Depot, which we're working on through the partnership with the City of Fairfax EDA, as well as some other folks, restaurants in the Fairfax City area. But yeah, I'd love to hand it over to Amber and or Colleen from the Office of Sustainability if they have some thoughts on plastics, as well as some specifications on types of food and beverage product containers that we could work on.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump off just to kind of give the context, and then I'll hand it off to Colleen to talk about some of the products and things like that, product specifications. I'll just go off the top a little bit and just say, plastics production really outstrips the Earth's ability to deal with the amount of production that we do, and 98% of plastic right now is virgin plastic, meaning it comes from new oil extraction. So, and a lot of times we think about, oh, the worst part of a life cycle is when you throw something away. A lot of times actually it's the extraction and production of the item that has some of the worst environmental and social impacts. So if we think about 4 to 5 trillion plastic bags used yearly, 1 million plastic bottles bought per minute, these are global numbers, of course, and then on average, only I think everybody's heard this stat, but only 9% of plastic ever made has been recycled. But even if you dive down into those numbers, end stage plastics typically only plastic is 12% incinerated, 79% ends up in the landfill, 16% ends up in the ocean. So these are real impacts on our natural environment. We hope that plastic can, be recycled more and more, but if we just do more programming, if we just do more engagement, unfortunately, what we've seen in practice over the last 25 years is not that. And so, I would just say that in 2018, when China stopped accepting plastics, some of these like films and things that say they're recycled, but really aren't being recycled in great numbers, China actually stopped that because of their pollution problems. We started seeing US exporting to Thailand jump by 7,000%. And now US exports over 1 billion pounds to 96 nations, and it's ending up in their rivers and oceans. So plastics production is largely from virgin sources, and it's not recycled at end of life. So we kind of need to think about reusables and better alternatives that are single use, and with reusables obviously being our number one focus, because they just have much better impacts than any single use alternative. So if you have any more questions, we definitely have a lot of materials on this. I know NWF has materials. So we definitely interested in talking more about the big problem of plastics, including carbon footprint and things like that. But I'll send it over to Colleen to talk about some of the specifications that might be interesting for you all, and also what we're doing right now with dining and others at Mason.
Yeah,
so
thanks, Amber. We've been working pretty closely with Mason Dining, partially because of Mason's immediate transition to compostables within food service over the summer. So a lot of these specifications are pulled directly from retail dining sites controlled by Mason Dining, like their inventories. So through the PGF, which is the Patriot Green Fund, through our office, we've also been working with student groups on some reusable pilot programs, specifically an engineering capstone team on a reusable to-go kiosk to sort of help with that monthly inventory reconciliation and tracking those containers. So that the focus of that project and the product they're testing is a 3-compartment reusable clamshell, and that's really one of the key items that we are focusing on for reusables, because at Gold Rush is where the pilot is, and that is one of the main containers they use. The other containers that we're looking at within the pilot, but we're not exactly testing and we would love some creative solutions to, would be their entree containers and kind of their salad and soup bowls, which are used throughout multiple locations. So right now, those entree containers are two components. So there's a lid and sort of, like the main compartment, and that's sort of difficult to track. People might lose one compartment over the other. There are hinged options that are compostable, but in terms of reusables, those are difficult items, I would say. There's a lot of products on the market for reusable to-go clamshells and things like that, but some of the maybe specialty items and the kind of deli containers or soup containers, whatever you want to call them, those ones are sort of the difficult ones that we would also love, to find solutions for at Mason. I included some of the specialty containers just as an example because these are also containers that have, that might have solutions in terms of like lids and to-go like opportunities, but we really don't know if there are any products like that on the market that are reusable. So I thought those might be interesting for you guys as well. I know that there are some like compartment containers for like, sides and dips available, but that would be another kind of area, especially at Eagle Bank Arena. That, maybe in the future that could be pretty cool too. So I just wanted to have those there as well. And then I guess here's an example of what they're testing within the PGF project. It's from a company called Preserve, which is sort of an official partner with Fill It Forward. Fill It Forward is sort of it's a reusable, they make reusable products that have a QR code printed on them, so it connects to their app, and every time people scan their reusable bottle, they donate money to clean water infrastructure projects through charitable partners. So it's kind of a cool way of incentivizing reusables. So that's why we encourage the engineering students to go with Preserve for product testing. And some of the kind of weaknesses or things that might be like, that might have room for innovation are, like I was saying, like that inventory piece, like having some sort of tracking ability within the container would be quite useful for reusables, especially on a college campus where there's a lot of people going in and out of this location. It's not really a contained dining, site. And like I mentioned already, like the attached lid, being able to keep track of that, and also like different sort of materials. Preserve uses 50% recycled content polypropylene. So it's recyclable, but is it easily recyclable? Is it endlessly recyclable? No. So there are definitely like material improvements that could be made there. And these are sort of just the considerations that we went through when we were talking with Mason Dining, and also our own office kind of considerations when we're looking at reusables. So for Mason Dining, the key ones are really that it can like withstand their commercial dishwasher, so about 180 degrees. Durability is really important. So they have hard water, they told us, and sometimes that leaves like spots and things like that. So that's one of the considerations. And container size is actually kind of important to dining facilities as well, like portioning things out correctly and all of that. So a 9x9x3 clamshell, that would be like the correct size for like Gold Rush, which is one of our pilot sites. And on our end, our office has like sort of the additional considerations of end of life disposal. We really want to make sure that items that are used on campus can be diverted from incinerators and landfills. And I put in an example there of a company on the West Coast called Dispatch Goods that uses stainless steel for their containers, which is, has its, good kind of like benefits, and also its downsides in terms of production and, like weight and cost. But that in like silicone containers might be interesting as well. And then life cycle impacts. So, is it produced without like PFAS? Like some plastic containers, fluorinated chemicals are used to line some of the equipment when they're molding them. So things like that, just safety and also durability is important to us from a life cycle perspective as well, because, you know, the benefit of reusables are that, you know, after like 3 to 6 uses, depending on what you're comparing it to, you really do see the cost benefits and you see the emissions benefits after a couple more uses. But yeah, so having that longer life cycle is really important to us as well. I think that's everything.
Well, thank you, Colleen. That was such like a broad and deep look into just different ideas that students could work on, as well as why these things are important as well. So I very much appreciate kind of the insight on the sustainability aspect. And I'm very excited that you guys are kind of helping us out with our design challenge and just supporting student ideas and innovation in that area. But I'll pass it over to Crystal on the actual kind of rules and guidelines.
Thanks, Becky. My name is Crystal Fickers with the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, and I'd like to go a little over the guidelines and prizes that we have available for this exciting design challenge. So firstly, the purpose is to explore returnable, reusable, and sustainable food or beverage containers for producers, transporters, retailers, and customers. The rules are such that teams may consist of 1 to 5 students, must submit a unique product idea not currently available in the marketplace. Each entrant will submit 1 design and 1 prototype, and the registration deadline is Thursday, March 10th of this year. The assessment criteria will be based on 4 points. Firstly, elegance. Is the design understandable, clean, and demonstrates simple ergonomic function? Secondly, feasibility. How well does the entry function? Thirdly, market value potential. What is the potential for commercialization or bringing this to the marketplace? And how large is the addressable market? Finally, sustainability. How environmentally friendly is your concept? Can it be reused, recycled, and/or sanitized? Now I'd like to go over a little about the prizes, the exciting prizes we have up for grabs. I'm happy to share that the first place prize will be awarded $1,000 in award or purchase supplies for prototype implementation, membership to Novolab's Makerspace for each team member, and the opportunity to present the idea at Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship community-facing events and to the City of Fairfax restaurant owners at Restaurant Week Roundtable. Second place will receive $625 reward in supplies or prototype implementation and membership to Novolab's Makerspace for each team member. Third place will receive $500 for prototype implementation supplies and Mason's Choice Award, which were based on votes cast by the Mason community. More details will be shared on that later. Will receive $150 for purchase supplies in prototype implementation. All will receive ongoing support from the Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship to further advance the application of concept or prototype. Now, with this design challenge, we don't just want to present the opportunity to innovate and reinvent the food and beverage container. We also want to provide a means of accessing the resources needed to design your prototypes. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Tim at the Mix, who will talk a little bit more about the available resources. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hi, welcome everyone. I'll keep it relatively brief, but as you're starting to embark on this and you're looking around and figuring out how do I want to make this and what can I make this out of, I would encourage you to start looking at the Mix sooner rather than later, because we would like to have you in here using our tools and equipment, our laser cutters, our 3D printers, our scanners, and the rest to however you're going to start tackling your project. Come on in, talk to us, use our resources and our staff. And all of our information is on our website at mix.gmu.edu. And I'll throw that in the chat there as well.
All right. So if anyone has any questions or any thoughts or feedback or anything that I can help explain, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Hey, yeah, will the slides be publicly available?
Yes, so we're going to share out the information to anyone that attended today, just so that you can take a look at the kind of guidelines and prize options and everything like that. And if you have any questions after reviewing, our email is ciemason@gmu.edu, which will also be in kind of that kind of outgoing information. But we're really excited to have you guys participate and really want this to be kind of your vision of how we can make more sustainable containers moving forward, and just, you know, seeing how far you want to go with it. So we're excited to support and see what kind of designs folks come up with.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Becky, I just wanted to note that I put in the chat the link to the form. So if you're interested in joining the challenge, we have like a really easy Google form that you can complete, that we just get your email, and so that we're able to send you all of the information.
Yes, and it's definitely not too late to sign up. So if you know other students that might be interested in joining the challenge, like Tim mentioned, we'll have lots of kind of opportunities for you to go to the mix. They have ongoing workshops every week on certain machines and equipment that you would be really helpful for you to take their workshop ahead of time, so that when you start working on your idea and at that session on the March 9th date, you'll be ready to go and familiar with the equipment and tools. And I believe that Sydney in the room had a question. Sydney, if you want to come up.
Yes, I do have a question. Is there a way for individuals who would like to form a group or pair up, can pair up, but they don't right now, don't have the opportunity to do so right now?
Sure, great question. So on our Google form that we'll make sure everyone has access to, there's an option to select if you're seeking out team members. So anyone that is looking for people to partner up with, or might have an idea and need some additional team members, we'll definitely try to play some matchmaking as well. So we want everyone to join in, even if they aren't pressing forward with their own idea, to be able to collaborate across campus. Great question, thank you. Any other questions? Yes, Amber?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you have a Teams built out for this, so that, or like a channel in Teams, so that if people have questions, maybe we can't have another meeting or and everything, but maybe we could just ping them back with any answers to any questions they might have on a or sort of a chat basis.
That's a wonderful idea. It's fairly easy to create teams within Microsoft. So we could definitely, if people are comfortable with adding themselves or getting into the team, that might be a great resource to say, oh, this person had this question that another team might find useful as well. I know we're quote unquote competing for prizes and everything like that, but in the end, it's all about kind of moving the ideas forward more holistically. So yeah, that's a great suggestion, and we'll look into getting that organized. Thank you, Amber.
Yeah, I just wanted to, we've worked with the capstone group from the engineering school on something, you know, looking like a reusable return container, or sorry, a reusable like kiosk that you can return your container to. And so I just wanted to mention that, you know, the sizing on that is similar to the preserve containers. They do not have a small, you know, container, as Colleen said, but I did want to mention two things. One of the things that's hardest, and I think Mr. Jordan just mentioned it, is sometimes the restaurant or the customer, the client in your case, would rather use single-use plastics because it's cheaper for them, it's easier for them, there's no cleanup. So one of the things we've run into since we've done Executive Order 77, now there's no single-use plastics or polystyrene allowed at Mason. We've really had to push folks into better single-use alternatives for right now because of the timeline, but we're really trying to push toward reusables. But the dishwashing is one of the big, hindrances for them. There are countries where even like restaurants send, noodle meals and other things out in reusables, and then they collect them and they wash them. That's not something that happens in the US that much. In Copenhagen, I think 98% of soda bottles are glass, and they're taken back and refilled, cleaned and refilled. There's just not that system here. So sometimes it's the system is broken, as he was just saying. And so, that's one of the hardest things about this, is that we're really trying to push upstream against the single use. And no matter whether it's a better single use, like compostable, or, whatever it is, it really is, the game is really, the ball game is getting a reusable that people can use, return, and wash, and then repeat. And that's durable, lightweight. I would love to see stainless steel instead of plastic, because it would last a lot longer. But there are some issues with that, so mostly, like, if people lose it or it doesn't come back, then the upfront cost, the university losing a $30 object versus a $5 object is way harder to maintain a reusable program. So if there's ways to deal with some of that financing part, there are other more durable options out there. So yeah, definitely all of these things. That's why, the teams would be great if you guys have questions about what some of the vendors have told us on campus or around this area. I know that even the catering contracts for Mason now require compostables to come to campus for the preferred caterer. So that's local businesses. So we're pushing them toward BPI and CMA certified compostables so that there's not PFAS in it, but it's still a single use item. And so we're really hoping that some kind of system, not just a product, can really start to, come alive for the reusable, but it is going to be difficult. So I just wanted to mention that, and we're here to help. Thanks.
Well, thank you for all of that knowledge and all of that expertise from all of you guys. That's very, very inspiring as well, just to say, like, here are these big issues that we can try to start kind of chipping away at and thinking about, not only like Amber was saying, not even just specific products like this challenge is designed for, but broader than that, more systematically as well. So I also wanted to kind of highlight kind of like the what's next kind of piece of this. And we do have a date set with the mix to encourage folks to start going from that thinking and idea phase to actually getting to get hands-on prototyping going and brainstorming and all of that kind of stuff, kind of that next step into action. So that will be on Wednesday, March 9th from 12 to 1 p.m. And so we invite folks. And then, as Crystal mentioned, our deadline to really submit your idea and your application through our Google form is going to be the March 10th. So even if someone is still interested in kind of attending the workshop, or also attending the equipment workshops leading up to that March 9th date, you can still kind of encourage people to join in and take advantage of the opportunity. And then I think that's about it. But on that March 9th date, we'll kind of have some experts in different areas. I know that our sustainability folks, and Andres, you're very much welcome to join in on those sessions and just kind of be there to kind of push us to think about things. Yeah. Think about things in different lenses and different considerations to take into thought.
I'm pleased. In the meantime, if some of you want to reach out and with some help, let me know. Okay. Just reach out.
Wonderful. Well, I think that's about it, unless I guess Sydney has one question.
Yeah, I do have a final question. So should we also be thinking about how, whether when making the design, how businesses can use it, or also like everyday people can use it?
Either or, yeah. So that would kind of determine who your customer is. So that could be individual users or kind of the more broad systematic players as well. Well, thank you everyone for your time. And if you have follow-up questions or anything like that, but we'll send out additional information once we have it ready for you. But thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. See you guys. Good luck. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.